Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, this is great.
No, we're live.
We're
yeah.
live.
I don't know what to do about my eyes.
Does it hurt to look at the computer?
I think it was at this time last year, right around this time, I got shingles.
Yeah, you fell apart. That was right around this time.
And now my eyes are just exploding.
Well,
if we could zoom in on the camera, we could, but nobody's operating the camera.
yeah. Well,
I don't
trust me.
I can't do that from this seat.
I can.
But they are pink as shit.
Well, we might have to put this on Instagram.
I feel like you're getting a little queasy there.
Me? I'm
in terms of contagious.
I will
shit.
come over and give you.
They're not contagious.
Give you a kiss right in the lips.
The only thing that I can pinpoint is that I changed out my contact solution.
That's probably what it is.
Last week, and it had some sort of weird reaction. But I look like I'm either A, been crying for days, which maybe I am.
Maybe.
Because I can't get past 2 and 3.
No, that is.
Or B, I've smoked the biggest joint on top of another giant joint. I'm just high out of my tits.
Is that true?
That's what no.
I mean, I'm okay with it either way.
I mean, I'm at work right now. I know people are kind of like giving me a double take, and nobody's asking me about it. So,
week 5, Tuck's on edibles, and a lot of them. A lot of edibles.
Well, I'll let you know later on if it is contagious, because I am going to the doctor at 4.
Something tells me, Tuck, that I'll find out.
Yeah. So anyways, I don't know what to do. But I just find it curious that I want to go back and see when the shingles episode was. I do feel like it was week 5.
Week 6 or something. It was right around this time of year. I know that. It definitely was.
I don't know what's going on. But the eye drops didn't work. Nothing worked. So what are you going to do? All right. Well, you're listening to Better In-Laws, obviously, and you're listening to me. 2 and 3 Tuck is my new nickname.
2 and 3 Tuck. I like that.
2 and 3 Tuck.
Yeah, let's
coming at you. 2 and 3 Tuck.
That's what you want.
I just can't shake 2 and 3.
Yeah. Well, it's better than 1 and 4 or 0 and 5.
It's true, but it's not ideal, Matthew. It's not ideal.
No, but it's okay because we're just a quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah.
And you're one perfect week away from turning that right around.
Well, at least for the podcast, we were above 500.
No, at 500.
At 500?
Yeah, I went 3 and 2 last week.
Okay. So, yeah. So, we're okay at 500. It's not the worst. I mean, at least you hit your best bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you just run through it then?
All right, quick recap.
Before my eyes explode.
Yeah, maybe shut them and take a quick rest while I do this. Week 4. Was that a snort?
Yeah,
Do we get a snort? Even better.
Sorry.
Better, yep. Pink eye, snorting. Good. All right, week 4, recap. Pats, Niners, under 39.5, your best bet. Took the L. Joey Sly kicking field goals from 60-plus and 50-plus for no reason.
What are they doing to the balls? They're juicing the balls.
They're
man.
juicing the balls. The PSI. Let's check the PSI levels.
I don't know
Bring
what
that up again.
I don't know what it is, but I've never seen so many boots from kickers. And if it's coming from a guy like Joey Sly, like
always had a strong leg, but when you're hitting the net at 63, come on, what are we doing?
Yeah, something's going. Like, didn't Aubrey
that guy
easily surpass like 70 yards?
Yeah,
like if the field goal posts were moved back further, like he nailed the net on like a 60-something yard field goal.
My favorite thing about Aubrey is not only is he the best kicker in the NFL, you know he went to Notre Dame.
Oh God, here we go.
Yeah. He didn't play football there.
What did he do?
Played soccer.
Oh,
so like he wasn't even on the football team.
Interesting.
That's
a good story.
That is actually the that's being a Notre Dame football fan right there. You're the best kicker in the world, and he didn't play football. He played soccer.
That's strange.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It had to have been a scholarship thing.
Then he did a tryout for the Cowboys, and they were like, "This kid can kick it from
better than Greg the Leg
Mars." Yeah. Speaking of which, let's pop right into the your Jets -7 play. Weather was tough in that game. That was brutal. The Jets cannot play in the rain. Huh?
I don't think I'll ever take the Jets again. I'll say that.
You don't think so?
No.
Well.
I mean,
I understand after watching that performance, losing to Bo Nix, but the rain threw everything out. But at the same time, if Greg Legg did hit his field goal at the end, they still win that game. You wouldn't have covered, but he didn't. So that's a loss. Tuck, you tried to switch it up last week. The people hated it. A lot of feedback. Don't like the props.
Why didn't they like it?
Didn't like the props.
They can go fuck themselves. How about that? Listen, all of you out there. shove it right up your ass. I don't care.
Wow.
What is there not to like about it besides it fucking losing?
They want an additional.
Oh, stop it. You babies. It's a like. God. Oh, if it has to be a spread or it has to be points. It can't be anything else. I can't do it. Shut up, you babies.
Well, the bad news for you is
it should have hit. It should have friggin' hit.
Everybody else on the Vikings scored.
They were up. Number one, they were up 28-0. So I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be great. Or unless they just go to Ty Chandler there, but they didn't.
They did not.
They were trying like hell to get Aaron Jones' touchdown.
Yeah,
and it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
he had the stats. He had everything. He had a great fantasy day, except for the touchdown.
So a loss nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a loss.
But the good news, Tuck, and the way you got to look at
I'm going to give all props today. You
went 2-2 on totals and sides. So look at it that way.
Yeah. That should have hit. That should have hit.
3 straight losses to start, but then the Falcons. Absolute miracle cover here, but we'll take them where we get them.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
No questionable PI.
You skipped the Raiders
call.
and Browns one,
That's
too.
because it's a 4:00 game. I try to go in the order of the times. But the Falcons get a nice PI call, then set up for 58. Younghoe Koo, career-long field goal, buried it because they're juicing the balls, and the Falcons covered that game at 1.5. But I wanted to call out, very good bet by you because numbers matter, and that line moved from 1.5 to 2.5 very quick, and then went up to 3 and closed at 3. So numbers matter. And you should listen early because that's why we record early.
Remember my Jags pick that
I did.
Myself on the pick.
I actually put that in my back pocket to talk about in the recap.
Lost by 4.
Yep, told you. Something about that game was odd. But Raiders-Browns under 37.
Yeah.
Cashed that with ease. I think, 1 point? Was that 1 point? It was close.
Yeah, it was 36 points for the total.
Yeah, perfect.
Never
so nice win there for you. 2-3 for the 4th straight week. This is a little concerning.
What?
Overall, your best bets are now 2-2, and we're staring 2-3 right in the face with your best bets, and that feels...
That could be a good thing, though, considering I'm 2-3 Tuck. No?
Well, if you're 2-3 Tuck, but I'm saying I want you to hit your best bet.
Oh, I do, too.
But with the loss potential coming this week, to be 2-3 would just be fitting.
Well, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. Preview. I'm not losing the best bet this week.
I was very close to a double
I'm not
best bet.
I'm not losing the best bet this week.
So you and I don't talk about our picks before we come into the show.
No.
You generally put your picks in. I come to the office and I put mine in.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. So we don't. If we go against each other, we go against each other. If we have double likes, we have double likes. And usually, as the bye weeks start to hit, like we're going to see now, fewer games, you'll see more double likes or more head-to-heads. So I think traditionally we see a lot more double likes than we do head-to-heads. But
yeah. I'll say this. 2-3 Tuck here. I said last week how I had no feels.
Yeah,
I'm getting some feels back.
Get the feels back.
Getting some feels back.
That's important.
I'll just say that.
Love it.
Feels are coming back, especially in my eyes.
That's good. We're just gonna,
which is mostly irritation and dryness.
Perfect.
Yeah. Real quick, what was your week 4 like? We all know your best bet hit. It was amazing. The Colts again.
Colts, baby. Never let me down when I bet you. And we even had to deal with Anthony Richardson and my whole handicap going sideways because here comes Joe Flacco. And I will say, when Joe Flacco came in, as much as I don't mind
I forgot
Flacco,
he was on the team.
Well, I don't mind him as a backup quarterback. But the problem was I wouldn't have bet that number had Joe Flacco been the starter. Being a statue against the Pittsburgh D scares me a little bit. We were together on Sunday. We did talk that he does know Pittsburgh, so that's the benefit of it.
But he knows the Steelers well.
Yeah, exactly. So, it worked out in the end. I do feel a little lucky, but I will say, right down the field, Anthony Richardson 7-0, and then right down the field again, and he got hurt inside, the 10-yard line. So, easy 14-0 start. Ended up 17-0. Game got a little closer than I would have liked, but still won, still covered, and they ran the ball, and the O-line dominated, and that was a handicap. So I was very happy with the way that turned out. So a nice win there. Green Bay -2.5 could not have started worse, down 28-0. I know we just touched on this a little bit, but still only lost by 2 points in that game. So, battled back, but didn't get the cover or the win there. So Minnesota 4-0.
What do you think that spread was live betting when they were down 28?
Oh, I was looking.
Did you check it?
I was looking. It was up to 30.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 30 at one point is the highest I saw. I wasn't locked into it, but I did check it. When it was 28-0, it got to 30.5.
Wow.
Crazy.
Damn. Should have hit that.
But 5 drops for the Packers. It was ugly.
Lost one of their wideouts, too.
Yeah, well,
but he sucks.
What else is new?
Yeah.
Bears, -2.5 win. Took a 6-point win there. So told you it was not a play of Matt Prisco being mad at the Rams being the Niners. It was a play by my numbers.
Play the numbers.
And, it's strategy.
The numbers.
Situation. And speaking of those Niners, -10 win. That really was never in doubt, but I told you I would be pissed off if they didn't win by 21, and we were together, and I was not happy that whole game. They didn't play well, and they still won by 17. That was part of the handicap. So you don't have to play well and still hit. Yeah, Joey Sly really killed you.
Yeah.
And then
that was the right play.
Gave out Miami money line. I had the game at +1.5. I thought they'd win. The line moved to 2.5 by kickoff, and boy,
Miami's in trouble, man.
I got to tell you.
Huntley was in trouble.
Huntley was not great, but Mike McDaniel would not throw the ball. And then a couple of drops in the game from Waddle. Like, catch the ball, dude.
No, I'm sorry. The problem with
pouting on the sidelines, like, it's just the Tyreek Hill complaining every other play. Get open.
The problem with this team right now is Mike McDaniel.
He is. He's
like, aside from the obvious, like, Tua absence, like, well, yeah, obviously. But, like, even when Tua was healthy, if you go back to that Bills game, the play calling was atrocious. It was so bad, and he really hasn't changed it up at all. I think he's in his head.
Yeah, he's afraid to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust Huntley. So, I mean, I know Huntley just got there. In the fourth quarter, they looked okay. Looked like, where was this offense? And I know they're playing a little bit softer, but, like, they threw the ball to try to come back, and, like, they moved the ball. Weird, shocking. The run opened up the run game. They scored a touchdown. Like, where was it? You know? So, I don't know. Plus, Will Levis, early quick pick, then exits, and Mason Rudolph came in and did a nice job for the Titans. So we'll take the L there. 3-2 week overall. So 8-12 for you, Tuck, on the season. 2-2 best bets. I've moved to 14-6 on the season. 3-1 best bets. So we're gonna keep the momentum on my side, and you're turning it around this side because we have a couple of double likes on the board now that I'm looking at this. So we better have a good week.
Pink eyes and all.
All right.
Pink eyes and all.
Let's go.
So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us on our socials at Better In Laws, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, what have you. And please leave us a review on friggin' Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't done so already. That is also big. Please do all those. Thank you. Even though I was busting all your balls for giving out a prop bet. I guess I won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Listen, I had to change up the mojo.
The people were like, what's going on here?
What, am I not going to change up my mojo if I have no feels? I was feeling Jones. He had a big game, aside from the touchdown, but whatever. I won't do it again. All right? Jesus. All right. Let's go ahead to week 5 here at Thursday. No, we're going to start with our likes, and then we'll do the rest and then the best. So you think I would get the picture by now?
Do we usually start with Thursday? I feel like we do.
No.
We do start with likes, then Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, we'll get right into the likes, and then we do the rest.
Yeah, I get you.
Unless we have a Thursday night like, which we don't do, because no Thursday night bets.
No Thursday night bets, but Thursday night bets.
Yes. Why don't you kick us off, Matt?
Oh, we got a double like, Tuck.
Oh, we do.
So why don't we start that off? Because we're going across the pond.
Look at us. Double like to start. I did not know. I'm just looking at your picks right this second. I have not looked at them. I am opening them up now.
Yep.
Very good. All right.
I will say we have 2 double likes, and one of the likes that I have is your best bet. It was very close to a double best. It was very close to a double best bet until a number came into market.
The feels are back. I feel them all the way in my plums.
So do you want me to kick this off anyway, even though it's a double like, or what do you want to do here?
Kick it off. Kick it off.
All right.
I've been talking too much.
All right, I'll kick it off. So let's start. Minnesota Vikings, New York Jets. This line is moved. It's anywhere between 2.5 and 3, but market across the board looking more like 3 at this point. So we're taking the Jets +3 here in a double like. Look, Minnesota 4-0, playing arguably the best football in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. At least defensively, they've been absolutely lights out, and Sam Darnold is
story of the year.
Yeah, I mean he's looked.
It was
great.
The Saints earlier, but now this is the team. The story of the year. Maybe I'd say the Vikings and Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are the 2 top stories in the NFL this year. Continue.
I agree. And how do you not? And then you have the Jets, who are 2-2 and just lost at home to Denver. So why do we like the Jets? Well, I can speak for myself. Brian Flores has the defense playing lights out, right? At least until, 4 weeks straight until the second half of that Green Bay game where the Packers finally found some stuff, took advantage, almost came back in that game from 28 down. But if you actually look at this, the QBs Minnesota has faced in this so far this season, Daniel Jones, Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love. So you have some good names there, right? Mm-hmm. But all of them have one thing in common, and that's that they're pretty young. And a guy like Brian Flores and his scheme can spin that up and confuse a young quarterback, do stuff that they haven't seen before, and take advantage of that. Well, guess who isn't very young? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has seen everything. And at this point, I don't think he's going to be flustered in the pocket with anything that Flores throws at him. He's going to be finding the open guy, and he's going to try to want to get Garrett Wilson the ball because they have to get him more involved.
Yep.
They know that, and they will. That's part of what they'll do on offense, right? So I expect a big game out of Wilson and Rodgers connecting. In a way, Aaron Rodgers not going to be flustered by the Brian Flores defense.
Considering what the Vikings just allowed versus the Packers.
Yeah, exactly.
They carved them up.
Yep, exactly. So I think they get Breece Hall back on track. I think a big part of I don't know what happened. 10 carries for 4 yards for Breece Hall last week just did not get him the football. I'm not sure why he even only had 10 touches anyways.
Last week was just an embarrassment for the Jets.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting value because of that. So getting 3 in a game where I really think the Jets win this outright is kind of crazy. I know that the Vikings are 4-0. I know they're playing well. I know I've kind of faded them the last couple weeks, expected them to lose. But look, is Minnesota going undefeated? No. Let's still pump the brakes.
Yeah,
they're
early. They're due to drop one here.
Due to drop. We're traveling to London. And, I think it's a good spot for the Jets here. So give me the Jets, +3 in London. I think their defense slows down the offense just enough, and I think you see a big game from Rodgers. I really do. That's my handicap. Just a good spot for the Jets, and I think he can handle the way they play defense.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up perfectly there. I'll just say, I'll add, and I was kidding earlier with the Jets pick because that was obviously my first like. Haha. Embarrassing loss on their home turf versus the Broncos. Coming off an extended rest on Thursday Night Football when they just spanked the Patriots there. So they didn't show up. Mm-hmm. Now they learned their lesson. The Jets are a better team than what we witnessed last week. They're a much better team than that. I think this will be a good opportunity to get away and refocus on the road in London. And you need to. You absolutely need to with the Bills on deck.
Buffalo, yeah.
Yeah, massive need to refocus and get right before that Bills game. And you mentioned Aaron Rodgers and his experience versus Brian Flores. Well, how about Aaron Rodgers just on prime time and now in the international spotlight too?
Yeah.
He's going to twirl it.
Yep.
He's going to show up and impress. That's what he does because he's all about Aaron Rodgers, right, at the end of the day. And Robert Saleh knows Sam Darnold.
He sure does.
I know this isn't the Sam Darnold from the Jets, but he does know Sam Darnold very well. So, give me the Jets. I don't know if they win. Wouldn't shock me if they did, but Jets +3. I like it too.
They're winning.
Okay. Are you sprinkling money line?
I'm sprinkling money line.
We'll sprinkle there.
You need to sprinkle that and a little Bailey's in the coffee, 9:30 a.m. start in the East Coast. So a little money line
or
sprinkle.
Bloody Mary.
You go Bloody.
Bloody Maria.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm drinking.
Which is, I know we're having a little birthday shindig for my wife / your sister on Sunday. Yeah. My doors are open at 8 a.m. So however early.
Yeah, depending on the naps shakeout with the younger maniac there.
Just bring him at 6 a.m. I don't care. Just time to start drinking.
Yeah. Not a bad thought. All right, my second like here. Give me the Panthers, and help me out with this, because I don't know if this number exists anymore.
It did this morning. Let me check.
We're recording, I say this every episode, but I just want to remind people we're recording Wednesday at 1 o'clock-ish.
Middle of my workday. It's good.
Sorry.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, whatever. Get over it. It's fine.
It's
fine. We're all adults here.
Too busy working.
You take 45 minutes to do this. You're fine.
Just kidding.
Panthers +4. Is that a number?
It is.
Okay. Give me the Panthers +4. Panthers clearly are a completely different offense since Bryce Young was benched. The right move, obviously.
Yeah.
I ship him off to the moon or whatever because 36-year-old Andy Dalton is delivering now for this Panthers offense. And we said at the beginning of the year, or you said at least, that this Panthers offense is not getting enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
in terms of their weapons. Deontay Johnson is Deontay Johnson again. Mm-hmm. I think he has 27 targets in his last 2 weeks with Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton's feeding him.
Yeah, and he should. And that's what Bryce Young should have been doing. Mm-hmm. Xavier Legette getting more involved. A nice rookie there for the Panthers. Bears, they get a London game on tap next week. So maybe we could see something what the Jets did last week, home versus the Broncos. Maybe the Bears do that with home versus the Panthers, right? It's kind of the same sort of formula. Felt like the Bears almost choked it away last week versus the Bears. On their
Rams.
home turf. Yeah, I'm sorry, the Rams.
Yeah.
The Bears almost choked away last week versus the Rams on their home turf.
They did. They were in control of the whole game for the most part. Early on, the Rams had a couple field goal lead, but once they took the lead, it felt good. There was a couple of plays where I'm like, this game's going to land on 2 or 1, and I'm not going to cover this 2.5, and I should have taken the money line. But no, they did their job in the end. But to your point, yes. They did turn it on late, though. I support the pick. Do you have anything else you want to add? Or?
No, that's pretty much it.
I support the pick. No play for me on this one. The one fear I have is that, last couple weeks, the reason I was on the Bears last week, A, I love the spot, but B, I did start to see some things from Caleb Williams that were impressive we want to start to see consistently.
He is turning it around. I'll say that.
Yeah, and for me, the one fear I have on this one is the Panthers their defense is dreadful. So, and especially, they can't stop the run. They're not great against the pass. So, Chicago's not one of these teams that I think is just going to auto-stamp come in and just own Carolina because they have a terrible defense. It's the offense in Chicago is still hit or miss, and that's drive to drive, so that's why I support the play. But I can't back it with my own financial play here because I just don't trust that I don't trust that the defense is going to do enough to stay within the number. But I do fully agree. The Carolina Panthers overall with Andy Dalton they're the team I thought they were going to be. I thought Bryce Young would take the step. He hasn't. But Dalton being there has re-energized that entire team.
It's going to be just a weird score, I feel like, too. There's probably going to be a 2-point conversion and then a missed 2-point conversion. It's just going to be a weird, awkward.
Me a 22-19 final.
Yeah, exactly. Something that's exactly what I had in mind, a 22 something score. And I think they can keep it within 4. So give me the Panthers plus 4 there.
Also not sure how much I want to lay over a field goal right now with Caleb Williams still. I don't care who you're playing. That's a lot of points for a rookie, even at home.
Yep. Agree.
Nice play. Nice play. Support
what's your second like there?
All right. For me, we're going to Buffalo at Houston, and this line is right now at 1.5. Both are kind of widely available across the board, so I'm taking the Texans plus 1.5 in this one. Houston back in this underdog role, Tuck, and that's where I like them. So I've told you before, when C.J. Stroud's a favorite, I don't necessarily get involved that much unless it's a short number, and then just, of course, depends on who they're playing, the spot, everything else. But as a dog, this is where we play Stroud. This is where he made the money last year. This is where low expectations on the Texans last year, and, of course, he outplayed those to about as well as you could outplay those, right? So taking that team to the playoffs, looking good to the point where everyone thought Houston is potential Super Bowl team in the AFC. And what have we seen so far? Well, pump the brakes. Still a young team. Joe Mixon came in. Week 1, they looked really good running the ball. Week 2, he gets hurt.
He might be back this week.
That's the key to the game. I think he is back in this week.
What if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, I still like the number, just not as much. So I think Houston wins this game outright, no problem, if Joe Mixon's in this game. That's a huge play, though. Mixon makes a huge difference. And we do record on Wednesdays, as you mentioned. We don't know yet. Practice has happened today. We'll get some status updates. He was practicing last week a little bit. He just wasn't game ready. I think a little bit of that was, we can beat the Jags without you. Get a week's rest. We need you for the Bills. I think that's part of it.
You're missing one element to this.
Not yet, buddy. You're not done with the handicap. I know you're talking Steph Diggs, but I think
Steph Diggs, baby.
The key here for this entire game is the Bills' defense last week. We didn't mention this on the podcast, but when you came on your show on EEI, to the beautiful listeners of Rhode Island, got to
Providence,
yep,
and Worcester.
Do get to hear my feedback on the Ravens-Bills games. It did shift a little bit as I started to dig into that post-podcast. The Bills really haven't played anybody that great. So as everyone's crowning Josh Allen for MVP, and I think we just got to sit back, relax. They're going to Baltimore Sunday night, tough spot. We gave out the Ravens on that show.
Yep.
Now, year back where we didn't. It was kind of just like, I'm going to sit back and watch it. I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. And exactly what happened, what we thought was going to happen, happened, right? Baltimore took it to them, and they kind of exposed the Bills where you can attack them, and that's right down the middle of their defense. Run at them, throw over the top. You have a giant in Nico Collins who you can just fire the ball to, and you also have...
I still think that guy's underrated.
He's so underrated, and he leads the league in receiving. Like, he's been awesome. On top of that, Steph Diggs, revenge game. Mm-hmm. If there's one game you're going to get maximum effort from Stephon Diggs...
This has been circled for a while.
It's Sunday, right?
Especially after these Josh Allen comments a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. And
where he said, like, he was alluding to the fact that people or receivers who only care about padding their stats pretty much. And who else is that going to be targeted at?
He's going right at Diggs with that comment. And you know that Diggs is going to be fired up Sunday.
Yep.
So I expect a big game from both Collins and Diggs. Part of me thought you were going to have a Diggs anytime touchdown on the card when I came in, but you didn't.
I might.
But play it on the side, because I'm playing it on the side, because in this one is one place I do like the revenge spot, and I do back Diggs getting in. Not because it's just his old team, but because of the way that they're playing offense and how you attack Buffalo. I think Diggs is actually a tough cover for them in this spot. On the Buffalo side, look, I do think they're going to score. I don't think this is going to be like last Sunday night. I don't think, the Josh Allen doing virtually nothing. I don't expect that. The Houston D has been a little bit slower to get there, but I do expect the defense coming to play in Houston. That place is going to be loud. It's going to be a big, big game for this team.
These teams didn't match up last year at all.
No, they did not.
So this is a big measuring stick for the Texans.
Sure is. I lean the over in this game, so that's why I say
what's it at?
It's 47.5. So I do lean it. I think this has shootout written all over it. I think this is a game where you follow the game plan the Ravens did. I like the Texans' offense even more. I do like the Bills to score some points, but I do think Houston keeps hearing our defense hasn't been there. Our defense hasn't been there. And their identity, believe it or not, is still defensively with DeMeco Ryans as their head coach. I think he has a great game plan to slow down Josh Allen, create those turnovers. Houston wins this game, so give me anything with a plus next to it. Houston's winning by a field goal or more.
I like it. All right, my third like here on the slate, and again, help me out with the total here. As of this morning, I had Jags and Colts over 46.5.
Yeah,
is that still live? Well,
46.5, okay. 46.5 everywhere.
Give me the over on that one. Both teams, they really don't have issues on offense in terms of weapons or scoring points. Jonathan Taylor is likely going to play. If Anthony Richardson is not able to play, we saw what Joe Flacco did last year. I still think he can sling it and put up points. So that's not really a huge mover for me. Last year, between these two teams, the totals in the two matchups between these divisional rivals were 52 and 57. Mm-hmm. And the Jags are full-on desperation mode to avoid going 0-5. And their defenses, two teams that are in the bottom 10 in most pass defense metrics, and Indy ranks 31st in rushing yards allowed. We saw Tank's Bigsby break off a nice run last week, and I think he and Etienne are going to be front and center in terms of the rushing attack against this defense with their loss of what's his face there on the Colts, Buckner.
Yep.
Yeah, still a massive anchor that they're reeling from in terms of the loss. So I think it's going to be a lot of points in that one. Give me the over 46.5. And Trevor Lawrence wasn't terrible last week, by the way. Wasn't terrible compared to what we saw earlier this year.
Yeah, this is a make-or-break game for the Jags.
Yeah, total desperation mode.
This is like Doug Peterson, your job type game.
Yeah, he's getting the questions at the press conference now.
If they care about him, they'll be there to play. So I do support this. I haven't bet this yet, but I may get to the window here. The last 3 games for the Jags and Colts, by the way, 57 total points, 52 total points.
I said that.
And, 61.
No, I didn't give that other one. No.
61. So, I was looking that up because I know they played high-scoring games.
Is this so low because of the status of Richardson? Is this as simple as that?
It's
or just the winless Jags?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you're looking at these two teams. It's still a division game, and even the last three before that, if you go back the next three, you're talking about like 24, 37.
Yeah.
So like it isn't like just a slam dunk over. These two teams aren't exactly offensive juggernauts on paper, but
they
like,
got the weapons though. I mean, look
spot.
what Josh Downs did last week,
Totally.
coming off of injury.
Yeah, exactly.
He looked great.
He looked awesome. He was the key to that game actually. So
Pittman
like
finally showed up.
Yep, they get the pass game going. So I think there's a little bit of like Jonathan Taylor's questionable if he plays. Then you have Anthony Richardson. Does he play? So there's
Brian Thomas for the Jags looks like a stud.
Yep. There's weapons in this game. It's just a matter of like who's actually going to be on the field.
And if Evan Ingram gets activated, which I don't know if he will, then that's another weapon.
Look it.
I doubt it too, but you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been out all 4 games.
I get Brenton Strange.
Stud. Stud, yeah. Give out his friggin' prop bet, you prick.
That was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Didn't score last week. I didn't give it out. But you know what? Brenton Strange, anytime touchdown happening. I'm going to look that up. What is that this week? I mean, what a steal at plus 300 on Monday Night Football.
Man.
Weapon.
We're looking at Brenton Strange prop bets.
I'll tell you right now,
we
he's
might
going to
have
score.
issues.
This is a week he's going to score. I'm telling you, if Ingram doesn't play, they got this up yet? Let's see.
Hey.
Yeah?
Colts, 30th against opposing tight ends.
Oh, okay.
30th.
There you go. See?
Pat Fryermuth got on the board last week.
I'm telling you right now.
Cole Kmet went bananas.
Feed Brenton Strange. If you want to win this game, you go to your man. Brenton Strange, second round pick.
Well, that's Matt's 4th like.
Touchdown.
Prop bet for Matt.
Not an official like for the card.
It's an official like for Matt.
This isn't even out yet. I don't even know how you were giving props last week. They don't even come out with them. Just lying to the people.
It was plus 125. Moved to plus 115 by kickoff. So
well, there you go. Good.
That's all.
Good info.
Where is my likes? My likes.
My next
final,
like. I was gonna say my next like is your best bet. Okay. So let's wait on mine.
All right. So why don't you give out your final like, and then so we don't have to have me sputtering twice in a row.
All right,
here.
that's fine. All right, I will give you my last like is Pittsburgh Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers minus 1.5, 2.5 in places. So shop around, people, shop around. There's 1.5. At a very very popular site out there for the people of FanDuel. Not saying FanDuel because that's not the only book, but yep, 1.5 at FanDuel.
You can say that.
I know, I was just kidding. Look, last week we faded Pittsburgh. I faded Pittsburgh a couple of times this year, but this spot screams Pittsburgh. Play Pittsburgh. All these people are going to come in and say, look, the Cowboys are getting 2.5. We're getting a 1.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, we got to bet the Cowboys.
Cowboys are not.
Got to bet the Cowboys.
Cowboys are not good.
The Cowboys suck. I told you they were going to suck at the beginning of the year. I told you they were not a playoff team or a fringe playoff team at best. Their best outcome this year is to get in the playoffs and get their teeth kicked in like they do every other year on Wild Card Weekend. So that's the ceiling for the Cowboys.
I mean,
now,
you beat the Giants by 5 on Thursday Night Football. Congrats.
Yeah. They're just gross, and they lost Micah Parsons. You lost Lawrence. So the two best defensive players are out. So the two positions on the field where the Cowboys are better than the Steelers, you could say, is quarterback and kicker. And unless Aubrey's kicking 75-yard field goals all night, I don't see how this Dallas team stays within this number. I mean, yeah, no kidding.
Look up that prop bet.
Seriously. Look, Dallas cannot run the ball. They're just everybody knows
they have no running back.
No running back. They have no running game. They're dead last in the league running the ball. Their pass game is turned into CeeDee Lamb and then occasionally Jake Ferguson. So, you can't do that against a top-notch defense like the Steelers. Throw in that it's Sunday Night Football. That place is going to be juiced. Terrible towels going everywhere. A great start for the Steelers at 3-1. Huge game for them to go 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Another piece, Justin Fields, he's starting to play well, right? Every game he's starting to play a little bit better. He did a lot of things in that game against Indianapolis that made me nervous in the second half. So first half, he was the Justin Fields that we all kind of expect. Second half, here he comes, and what does Dallas do worse than just about everybody in the league? That's stopping the run. They can't stop anybody on the ground. They've given up 146 yards a game rushing, 27th in the NFL. Najee Harris will get going in this game. Justin Fields will run in this game. Cordero Patterson, questionable. If he plays, he'll get going. Jaylen Warren, questionable. If he plays, he'll get running. I don't care if it's you, me, or a guy outside that I saw when I was walking in. We can run on the Dallas Cowboys.
Good guy.
Good guy. He was a nice guy. Looked a little sad, though. I wanted to ask him how his day was, but
pink eye.
nothing. Yeah, maybe he had pink eye from you. All of that to say, Pittsburgh wins this game by a field goal more. 1.5, 2, 2.5, whatever number you get's all good. I play him 1.5. It's there. So get it.
Okay.
But 2.5's fine too if you get there. Anything under a field goal is, and we're back in Pittsburgh. The public's gonna love Dallas. I'm telling you right now.
Oh yeah.
Dallas is gonna be in every
Especially
teaser.
on primetime TV.
Dallas is gonna be in every teaser.
Yep.
They're gonna be with the Chiefs on Monday night, and you know what? I think they both lose. So.
No, yeah, I love this pick actually. Love it. All right, so we'll get to your final like when we get to my best bet.
Okay.
My final like for this slate, looking at another primetime football game, Monday Night Football. Mm-hmm. I'd love to get your thoughts on this one. Give me the Saints plus 5.
I think I just gave it to you.
What?
I think I technically just gave it to you by accident.
You do?
Well, go ahead. You give your pick. I'll give you my
We're
additional
talking
color.
about the friggin' Steelers. So.
Yeah, I know. I said about the tease that it's going to be like Dallas and the Chiefs.
So, okay. Yeah. Jesus. All right, Saints plus 5.5 here. Listen, Chiefs are not going to be the same team without Rashee Rice. Absolutely devastating injury, and we'll see how long he's going to be out. Initially, the reports were it was a Achilles tear, but now that's not confirmed. But nonetheless, he's not going to be playing anytime soon.
Shucks.
So for the Saints defense, they're just going to focus in on a 34-year-old Travis Kelce who just looks like a shell of himself, and try and take away the edge with Xavier Worthy there. Juju Smith-Schuster is not a good weapon.
Who?
Xavier Worthy.
Juju?
Oh, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Like
Ghost.
No way. And then, their backfield is now Kareem Hunt and Carson Steele. The Saints defense is not going to have major issues with this Chiefs offense. They held Pitts without a catch last week on 3 targets in a competitive game. I know that the Saints were shredded a couple weeks ago by Dallas Goedert, but I think I chalked that up more to the Eagles being more creative, getting him involved in open space once Devontae Smith went down versus the Saints. So I kind of throw that one out the window. Chiefs might win this game, don't get me wrong, but this just feels like a sloppy game where they're looking ahead to get right at their Week 6 bye coming up, the Chiefs. So in the perfect world, Chiefs would have a bye week this week, given the injury, so they can reset and assess their offense and kind of see who else they can use, to replace Rice. I don't even know if that's a possibility, but they're going to struggle going into this bye, I'd say. So give me the Saints to cover plus 5.5.
Yep, like it. Already bet it myself. Didn't make the card, but I bet this game. I had 5.5, and I can tell you right now, this is just common. You're going to hear this from me. I'm not betting Mahomes. I'll bet Mahomes certain spots and if the numbers say, but, this is, again, he's just not he's not good against ATS when he's over 3. So, and it's because they're the Chiefs and they get juiced when, the value of the market. It makes sense why he's not. End of the day, perfect spot for the Saints.
Yeah.
This is not perfect. Going to Kansas City is not always great, but coming off 2 straight losses, so not a perfect spot. But
and by the way, those losses were by 2 points and 3 points.
Yeah, the
so
Falcons
they're keeping
win.
it close.
The Falcons win was a little fraudulent.
Sure,
tough call on the PI to even put him in field goal range. To be honest, plus, the Philly game was a little bit of a dogfight, and at the end of the day, it's still Derek Carr. But let's not forget you can't rule out what they did the first 2 weeks of the season either, right? So, let's see. We're going to find out a lot about the Saints here. The Chiefs just keep winning these games. Close games.
Yeah.
They should not have even won last week. The Chargers should have beat them. They know how to win.
Right.
But covering 5.5, I don't see it here. I'm on the Saints as well. Not an official pick for me, but I did bet that.
All right, well, there's my 5th and final like. All right, let's get to the rest here. By the way, forgot to mention the Week 5 buys. Speaking of buys, for this week are the Eagles, Titans, Chargers, and Lions. So few big teams there on a buy this week. All right, so let's get to the rest here. Thursday Night Football, Tampa on the road in Atlanta, another divisional matchup here. Should be a pretty good game, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Spread on this one is 1.5. Falcons favored. Point total on this one is 44. Any lean for you, Matt?
I'm leaning towards the Bucs side. I just don't like what I'm seeing out of Atlanta. I don't understand what that offense is doing. They have so many weapons, and every time I watch them, they're throwing the ball to Darnell Mooney, in Ray McLeod. I'm like, you realize Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts had no catches last week? Like, what are we like?
Yeah,
how is he not involved?
It's not even the 0 catches thing. It's the 3 targets thing.
3, yeah.
And this very well could be a Kyle Pitts issue.
Yeah, maybe.
Because now you get a new coaching regime here, and he's still not delivering, but continue.
Yeah, just weird. Their offense is weird. On paper, they look so good, and then they get out there and, like, they didn't have an offensive touchdown on Sunday. Like, they returned a kick, they had an interception. Like, their offense had no touchdowns. So, like, something weird going on. On the flip side, I couldn't have been more wrong about Tampa. I thought Tampa was going to be the worst team in the division, and they're not. So I admit that. You admit your faults.
Mayfield's legit, man.
He's looking good. And this team is playing well. So, lean Tampa here for me.
All right. We have the Browns going on the road to take on, like I mentioned earlier, one of the best stories of the year, the Washington Commanders, led by rookie Jaden Daniels. Point total in this one is 44.5. Commanders favored by 3 points. Very emotional win with the whole Cliff Kingsbury thing. Or you see that video of Cliff and the getting the game ball? Great video. So they're coming off a big emotional high here, and they're coming back home. They're going to be jacked up, yes, but maybe I could see this one being closer than I think. I think this is screaming Beatty to just hammer the Commanders, and I still think the Cleveland defense is fine and respectable.
Very strongly into Cleveland at 3.5, which is out there. It's a playable bet. I wouldn't take it at 3, but 3.5, I would lean Cleveland.
And we might see some Chubb.
Chubb's going to play, I think. Yeah,
he is going to play.
I think that's what I'm hearing. We'll see. I've heard some whispers, aka
from
couple texts coming through.
What do you know, Nick Chubb?
No, I don't know Nick Chubb. I know some people out in Cleveland though that have told me.
What do you know? People on the Browns?
I got some insider tracks. Things.
Oh no, you don't.
Little. What? Just a couple.
Chubb was designated. Oh, this is an hour ago. Yeah. Nick Chubb designated for return to practice.
Weird.
1 hour ago.
Weird. There you go. I didn't even see that. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. So.
I wonder why isn't the line...
You have to be mean to me.
What?
Because Nick Chubb's not going to move a point spread coming off an ACL injury, MCL injury. He's just not. But at the end of the day...
If he does play, he's not going to get the typical Nick Chubb workload. It's going to be like 10 carries.
Max.
Yeah.
Max, right? Like, so who knows? If he comes back, be nice to see him. Good for him because that injury was disgusting. But one last thing in this game. I'm rooting. I don't have any money on this game. I'm rooting for Jaden Daniels. I have money on this game for Jaden Daniels Rookie of the Year. So, like, every week, keep going, buddy. What he's doing is insane. His completion percentage is outrageous.
Looking ahead, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Worst game on the slate by far. Patriots home at Gillette Stadium. Point total on this one is 35.5.
Jesus.
Patriots are favored by 1. And let me just say this. I very much wanted to take the Dolphins in this one. I just can't get behind what their offense is doing right now. And I'm talking about the Dolphins in terms of their quarterback. My one lean for Miami would be, you think McDaniel is maybe getting on the phone with Kyle Shanahan and being like, "Hey, what did they offer you?" Like in terms of their defense.
Yeah.
In terms of their defense.
Well, maybe.
Because this is not a Bill Belichick defense, what the experts are saying.
Yeah.
Like this is a full-on, completely different defense for the most part. So maybe McDaniel's just like getting a little insight from Kyle Shanahan, old buddy Kyle Shanahan. I don't know. I don't even know if he needs it because the Patriots are the worst team in the NFL. Patriots are the worst team in the NFL.
One thing is holding me back from betting the Patriots, actually, because I lean the Pats.
Wrong.
Is McDaniel said after the game there will be changes. And I got to think he's saying, screw it, we got to throw. And we're going to take our chances throwing the ball because you can't just run up the middle and waste. It was like in high school. It was like a Pop Warner offense. Run, punt. Run, pass, punt.
What was going on with A-Chain?
They were giving him, he had 10 guys in the box.
Looked like a ghost of himself, though. That's not the explosive play. And, he was probably bottled up, but still, there was no creativity. None with that guy.
Nothing.
And maybe that's a Mike McDaniel thing, I mentioned.
Jalen Wright looked okay when he came in the game.
Yeah, maybe see more of that. Maybe Mostert gets back for this one, but I don't know if you heard this on the way in, but Pats just lost David Andrews for the year.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Absolute anchor on that god-awful offensive line. So now you got you're on your 4th left tackle, Matt.
That's pretty good.
You're on a very questionable below-average left guard with City So. Now you're on your backup center in Leverett there. And then Owenu's on right tackle, and then you got the kid Robinson at right guard, rookie, who sucked last week. This is the worst offensive line. It's not even close in football, and it's the worst offense in football.
I lean the Pats.
Give me a reason, though. Give me a reason.
Miami's bad, man. I downgraded.
Pats are worse.
I downgraded Miami more than any team that I've downgraded in like 5 years doing this, 6 years, whatever how long I've been doing it. And I can tell you, I was just way too high on them, thinking that like they would figure it out without Tua. I just didn't downgrade him enough.
They botched that backup quarterback situation, given Tua's history.
I mean, it's crazy that they don't have one.
I mean, how do you not go out and like sign Jimmy Garoppolo
Someone.
like in the office, or somebody respectable as a backup?
Like someone that can throw the ball.
Right.
I think Huntley will be okay. He'll need time, but like they got to also call plays for him to throw the ball.
Yeah, I would still lean Dolphins this one. The Patriots are that bad, dude. Trust me.
It's gonna be ugly. 35
Trust
is a
me.
laughable total.
I would heavily lean the under on that one as well.
Over shootout. 31-28 overtime.
Oh, God, that would be amazing. Speaking of fandom here, your 49ers are hosting the Cardinals. Point total on this one is 7.5. Or excuse me, the spread is 7.5. I'm seeing 7 now.
7.
And the point total is 49.5. Staying away from this one.
Yeah.
Staying away from this one. Cardinals just got absolutely smoked by the Commanders on their home turf, and I could see this one being extremely close, or I could see the Niners roll the Cardinals like the Commanders did. I'm staying away.
Trends say play Arizona. My eyeballs say play San Francisco. San Francisco like has not played their best game or anywhere near it yet, and still okay. Like Arizona just got throttled by Washington and couldn't move the ball, which is more concerning against the Commanders D, who hasn't stopped anybody all year long. So, don't look too much into that. It's 1 week division game. Anything north of 7, lean Arizona. 7 and under, San Francisco lean. No play.
How do you feel about the total though? Shootout or no?
There'll be points. The Niners struggle to stop mobile quarterbacks over the years, and they've not figured that out.
They smoked the
consistently.
car. I mean, did they face Kyler once last year? They lost both games. I know that. And sorry to put you on the spot, but
they definitely played him once in Arizona.
Yeah. I think that was like early in the year, and then Kyler got hurt after that. But either way, they lost. The Cardinals lost.
Yeah. But historically, the Niners go back to Russell Wilson. No quarterbacks are more successful as 49ers than Russell Wilson. They just consistently cannot stop mobile quarterbacks. So Kyler gives him fits even when he plays.
Oh, no. So the first game was a Josh Dobbs game.
I thought the second one was in Arizona.
First one was the Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, it was definitely Josh Dobbs.
And then the second one was...
I thought Kyler.
Maybe it was Kyler when he came back. But either way, the Niners smoked him both times. Yeah, it was Kyler in this
Arizona very bad last year. Improved.
Yeah.
But, how much? I don't know.
Right.
Cardinals are a weird team to me. Week to week, you don't really know what you're going to get. They're young, and that's what happens. So that's why I say under 7. 7 and under, lean San Francisco. Over 7, lean Arizona. Division game.
Broncos home. 2.5-point favorites here. Point total on this one is 36, taking on the Raiders. And the story at the Raiders right now is the status of Devontae Adams.
Trade him.
Yeah, it's coming.
Trade him, and then I also lean Vegas. Who the hell is Bo Nix on the Denver Broncos to be laying points against anybody? I know they just beat the Jets on the road, but that was more just about a gross weather game, and it wasn't like Bo Nix at one point had 7 completions for -7 yards last week. 7 completions.
That's a special
for
talent.
-7 yards. I've never seen anything like that. So, I don't know.
Listen, this defense.
Their defense is legit.
Defense for the Broncos has been
legit.
Good, averaging 13.8 points per game, which is third best in the NFL.
Yeah.
Come back-to-back road wins versus Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers, so give them that.
Yeah, definitely. I still lean Vegas, though. I mean, even
Broncos lost both matchups last year versus the Raiders, I will say that.
And, even if Adams doesn't play, look, last week they took care of business. They won without Devontae.
Yep.
And, honestly, might be a little relief for them. And they won without Crosby. Crosby's a late ad.
And Crosby, Crosby might not play this week too.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's too up in the air.
Yeah. And then the last one of the rest here is Seahawks home versus the Giants. 6-point favorites here, 43.5-point total. Seems like a trap game to me too.
What is Seattle? I think they're exactly what we think they are. They're a team they're like the new Dallas. They're going to beat up on teams that stink. They're going to lose the games that they play that teams are better. Lean the Giants, Thursday Night Football, Seahawks, Niners. That's very important to Seattle.
Exactly.
Lean the Giants.
Yep. All right, well, let's jump ahead to my best bet here, which is your fourth like. Mm-hmm. Give me the Packers -3 here. They almost did an incredible feat last week. We mentioned it earlier, coming back from 28-0. They almost pulled it off, fell just short, 31-29. Jordan Love was rusty to start the game, coming off his multi-week absence, but he turned it around. Versus a very respectable and good, solid Vikings defense there. Listen, playing away always in LA, at least in the Rams, it never scares me because it's going to be like a team or fan base like this. They're going to travel well for this one. This is going to be a sea of green, and it's going to be Lambeau West out there. It's going to be overwhelmingly filled with Packers fans. I always do that with a strong fan base playing against their LA. The Rams defense, they're ranked 28th against opposing quarterbacks, and they have allowed 8 passing touchdowns in 4 games this year. And the Rams defense has yet to hold a team to less than 24 points this season. So I know the Packers just lost Christian Watson, but I don't think that's a needle mover by any means. Tucker Kraft came on last week. A nice arrow point, like a tight end, or a young aspiring tight end who has potential. That's what I meant to say.
Yep.
So give me the Packers -3. That does not scare me whatsoever playing on the road there. What are your thoughts on this one? Because this was your fourth like.
Double like would have been our first double best bet had a number not moved in my favor this morning.
Well, what moved?
Just cashed in.
Oh,
you'll see.
Okay, gotcha.
The one game we haven't talked about.
Gotcha.
Green Bay -3 though. Let's stick here. Fourth like. Everything you said. I think the biggest thing last week when I'm watching the game, they go down 7-0. Okay, Packers get the ball. They start driving down the field. They're going in. They have a 3rd and 13. Love hits Wicks. Little low, but on the run, make the catch. You get a first down and probably a touchdown. If you go back and watch it, he's going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown, tie this game at 7. Instead, he drops it, miss field goal. Okay, Viking get the ball back down the field, 14-0. Okay, Green Bay gets the ball back. They go to throw, pass over the middle, drop again, picked off. Christian Watson loses his leg. It was just an ugly play all around. What else is new for that guy? 21-0, 28-0, but we talked about it, right? They came back, second half, battled back against that defense to get more comfortable. Jaden Reed is a legit weapon. He is very good receiver. He is a 1, and him and Love have a good connection going.
They do. The
Rams are just too banged up. Still, they're getting healthier, but this offense, I don't see how they're going to stop. I don't see how they're going to stop them. I don't care. You said it. It will be Lambeau West.
Sucks.
It'll at least be 50-50 crowd there, at best for the Rams.
I honestly, I think it's 60-40.
Probably. I haven't looked at the ticket sales stuff, but the one area of concern that I had in this spot, and this is where I start to get dicey. This is where it kept me off best bet territory. There's 3.5s out there. It's coming down to 3.
You don't like 3.5?
I don't. A 3 is the buy price.
Okay.
It's because they can run the ball, the Rams, and the Packers have really struggled to run the ball. I mean, stop the run, rather. That's a huge thing. If they get Cooper Kupp back, that at least gives them somewhat of a weapon on offense that they can at least... And when he's on the field, they can go to him every play, whether you know it or not. He gets open. The guy gets open. He helps move the chain, so that will be huge. So keep an eye on that. If Cooper Kupp doesn't play, I feel better about 3.5, but really there's enough 3s out there that you should play the 3 and get that. Does Jair Alexander come back? I think so. He was a huge part that was not a part of that game last week. Justin Jefferson ate a little bit more than normal. By the way,
Kupp's not going to play this week.
He's not out?
No.
Okay,
rules him out.
All right, so 3.5's okay. But 3 is the buy. There's plenty of 3s out there, even if it's a little more juice. Take the 3. There are -110s. My suspicion, it will creep back up. I think this is going to land 3.5.
All right, well, there you go. All right, give me your best bet, Matt.
Okay, buddy, let's go 4-1. What do you think? Should we do it?
I would love it.
All right.
I would love that.
Let's do it. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore laying 3 points. Little juiced. I'm going to say that right now. Looks 115. It was -1. It got to -110. I'm seeing it across the board now at 115. Some places still 110. So this game is another one that's going to land 2.5, 3. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
I'm taking the 3. Take it minus 115, or if you can get a 110, better. But just calling that out. Pay a little extra juice for the 3 here if you need to. Not go crazy with it because Cincinnati's going to win this game. We're taking the Bengals plus the 3. Certain teams, the Bengals play closely, seemingly harder than others. Those two teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, right? What have we seen from Cincinnati this year? Well, 1-3, don't look good. Did finally get on the board in the win column last week. The offense has been playing lights out football the last couple of weeks. Joe Burrow has looked awesome despite the 1-3 record. They're throwing the ball all over the field. Their run game, not so much, but they did mix that in against a terrible Carolina defense last week. So that at least got some life to it with Brown and Moss. Now, what do the Ravens do on defense really well? Well, they stop the run. Well, what does Cincinnati not even give a shit about? Running the ball. What does Baltimore do very bad? Stop the pass. What does Cincinnati do very well? Pass the ball. A lot of points coming in this game. We have a shootout because the Cincinnati defense does scare me. Does scare me. It's going over that. I think both these teams potentially get into the 30s here. I just, in this spot, in this game, this is a chance for the Bengals to take back a little bit of this chance to win the division. If you like the Bengals, you also got to start to think, Joe Burrow, is this where he digs himself out? The Bengals are notorious slow starters, and then they get back into this. Seeing the Ravens on their schedule is has to feel like this is the game we need right now. Mm-hmm. This is the season for the Bengals because they can make the Ravens 2-3. They can make themselves 2-3, and then they're just chasing the Steelers because the Browns, God knows what the hell they're doing in their defense, right? So at the end of the day, win this game. You have a 3-team race in the AFC North from this point forward, and you're even with the Ravens with a tiebreaker on them just right out of the gate. Jamar Chase going to explode in this game. I don't know what his over yards is because it hasn't been posted, but play the over. Cincy, 6th in the league passing the ball, Tuck. This Baltimore pass D, we talked about this a little bit, 29th in the league still, even after Josh Allen and Buffalo kind of did nothing against them, but they made them one-dimensional. Since he will mix in the run enough to not be one-dimensional here, since he's just going to win this game. I don't know what else to say. This is a spot where Cincinnati's going to win. Baltimore's won the last 2 games. You're hearing the media. I had NFL Network on this morning. Baltimore's the best team in football. I know they lost the Chiefs. The Chiefs are undefeated, but Baltimore's the best team. Put on ESPN. Baltimore's the best team in football. Pump the brakes. They're not the best team in football. They lose games like this. Let's see it. You go into the jungle. Give me the 3.
All right, easy on the mic there.
Sorry, am I yelling?
Yeah, you are yelling.
A little extra.
Give
me the money line.
If you want to yell, then
get away.
Step back from the mic.
Well, God, I'm yelling best bet. Trying to fire up.
Also,
if I lose the best bet, it's Tuck's fault. He won't let me yell. That gives me a half-point value when I get to yell.
The last time that these two teams met is when we saw Joe Burrow exit the game
Thursday
in the second quarter with a wrist injury.
Yeah, don't do that.
And prior to that, the Ravens won 27-24. T. Higgins had 2 touchdowns, 12 targets, 89 yards. It was a big
3-point game.
Yeah, 3-point game though. Do you like this at 2.5 or spend up for 3?
Listen, if you have a 3 option at anything under, I'd say minus 150. You can get minus 120 if you need to, but I don't think you're going to need to. There's plenty of line numbers out there. You just shop around. If you're playing one book, you got to wait till it gets to 120 at 3. Anything more, I'd say just take the 2.5 because I think the Bengals are going to win, but I'm telling you the 3 is a huge number to have, obviously.
I'm seeing Bengals plus 2.5 minus 102.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. You're getting a lower number at the juice at 1. So if you go to 3, what is it? What do you get, 120 118?
Something like that.
Probably 118. They usually do 20 cents when it's between the key numbers. So 118 is playable. It's worth the 3 for 118.
Yeah, it's minus 120.
There you go. That's the max I'd play. Nothing over 120.
Gotcha.
There's plenty out there.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can get behind that too. All right, so let's do a quick recap here. My likes were Jets plus 3, Carolina plus 4, Jags Colts over 46.5, and the Saints plus 5.5. Best bet was minus 3, my only favorite play for this week. I just realized that. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Jets plus 3, double like there for the boys. Houston plus 1.5 home versus the Bills. Green Bay minus 3, like my best bet. And Pittsburgh minus 1.5 for your final like. And your best bet, Cincinnati plus 3. A lot of dogs on the board here.
Yeah. Well, a couple double likes too. Well, double likes we split, right? A dog and a favorite. Looking at it here.
Right.
A lot of dogs on the board. I like that.
All right. Well, again, thank you, everybody, for listening. And, again, please subscribe to us on your socials and especially on YouTube. Go on YouTube, search Better in Laws, and click subscribe. That's huge for us. Please do that.
Yes.
Appreciate it very much and appreciate everybody for listening. I know I was busting your balls earlier, but I do it because I love. It's as simple as that.
Here's a prop. Steph Diggs touchdown. You gave a prop.
Yeah, minus 250. Probably.
No, it'll be plus money.
I know.
Receiver plus money.
Maybe
Maybe around 100.
Diggs is probably going to be right around 100, yeah.
Plus 100 or better is absolute smash.
No, I love that. Love that. All right, well, I'm going to go get my eyes examined in a couple hours. I will see what's going on. I'll tell you if you need to get checked out yourself.
I'm fine. No, I don't have it. I'm allergic.
I don't think it's conjunctivitis. I don't think it is. I think it's something else going on.
This will be the first podcast your sister listens to. And then I'll have to worry about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have an answer later today. Yeah, so it's
just text me.
I'll get more eye drops apparently, and hopefully I will stop looking like the devil. And we'll come back next week, and maybe I'll get a new nickname, not 2 and 3 Tuck.
Maybe 3 and 2 Tuck.
3 and 2 Tuck works too.
That sounds.
I take that. It's over 500. Absolutely.
5 and 0 Tuck.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, but yeah. Sure,
yeah, well, that's why we don't do it. That's why we don't pull 5 and 0. It doesn't sound just good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys again next week. Bye bye. Good luck.
See ya.